All right. Hey everybody, it's me, Shell360, and I just wanted to get on here to have a brief discussion about K-pop FOMO. So for those of you who are not familiar with the phrase FOMO, it means fear of missing out. And in K-pop, there is a lot of FOMO. I know personally, I enjoyed an attack of the FOMOs last night because BTS was in New Jersey, and I actually had a ticket for their show, but because of financial reasons, I was not able to attend. So I spent a lot of last night wondering, I wonder what's going on now. I wonder what Rapmon is doing. I wonder what the boys look like. I wonder how the new songs sound. I was in my feelings, big time hardcore. There you go, big core. I was really in my feelings about it all, but at the same time, it made me wonder, why am I in my feelings about it? It's not like I felt that way for missing Chicago. I didn't feel that way for missing Los Angeles. I didn't feel that way for not seeing them in Europe or not seeing them in Seoul. I felt that way specifically for New Jersey because I had a ticket and because I couldn't go because I had to spend my money elsewhere. And I was thinking about the other times that I felt this way in regards to K-pop, and it's been when I missed out on an album and then it sold out, when I didn't catch something right when it happened, like an appearance on a television show, or I missed a tweet and then I caught up later on. These are all things that happen quite a bit. Even kind of rear view mirror FOMO, when I'll discover a song and I'll realize the song has been out for a really long time and I didn't realize it came out, and so I didn't have a chance to tell friends about it, or find out more about the artist, or try to buy things from the artist. And so I've experienced FOMO in K-pop a lot, but there's no problem in having that feeling. I think we all have that feeling of wanting to get the most out of life at every opportunity, and so missing out on experiences makes you feel like you're not getting the most out of your life. The problem is that sometimes FOMO leads us to make poor decisions. Now, I could have bypassed saving the money I need to save in order to go see BTS in New Jersey. I could have bought the ticket, I could have bought the plane ticket, bought the hotel ticket or Airbnb ticket, paid for transportation, paid for food, bought merchandise while I was there. But at the end of the day, while that experience would stick with me for a long time, I know that what I'm saving for is very important for me. And so I'm able to justify in my own mind that, I'm missing out for a higher purpose. And that's the only thing I could think that is a cure for FOMO, is telling yourself that maybe things either aren't meant for you or that you sacrificed one thing for another. For instance, albums. There's so many albums that I had to catch up on with SHINee because I missed out on them because either I wasn't into the group at the time the album came out, or I didn't know how to get albums at the time that it came out, or I was buying one thing and couldn't afford to buy something else. And then it'll go out of stock, or the price will get super high, and then I have to have discussions with myself about, how do I want to collect this item? Do I still need to collect this item? And, not gonna lie, there's a lot of things in my SHINee collection that I probably don't need. There's a lot of things in my SHINee collection I don't look at as frequently as I could. But I'm happy with the things I have. I'm extremely happy with the things I have, and there's very few items in my collection that I would even consider selling because I love them so. But at the same time, I sometimes think wow, if only I had gotten this thing when it came out. One prime example is there's a concert Blu-ray, I believe it's a Blu-ray for SHINee, and it's during their DXDXD concert series in Japan, and it currently resells for around $200 right now. Now, this was before I was collecting concert DVDs. I don't even have a Blu-ray player, but because it's so rare, I kind of wish I had it, and I've thought several times about buying it on the secondary market, but then I had to explain to myself, but would you even watch it? How would you even watch it? What would you be buying it for? Is it worth that money for the photo book when those photos are available online? I look at my SHINee Road 4 album. I got it when it came out. I'm so glad I did because it went out of print super quickly. But when I see what it's selling for now, I sometimes have to ask myself, would you be willing to pay $200 for this when you paid $60 when it came out? And so I think it's important to identify the FOMO for what it is. Same thing with like albums that have multiple covers. How many of us have bought all the versions of an album even though the music is completely the same? The pictures are available online. There's no significant difference or life impacting difference. It's just you want it all. You want to collect it all. It's definitely a conversation to have. And so I think it all goes back to examining your priorities. And I think that's been the crux of all these conversations I've had about collecting. It is, what really are your priorities? Are your priorities making sure that you have things first? Is your priority making sure that you have the most complete collection? Is your priority getting the things that are the most important to you? Is your priority making sure that you provide some sort of financial support for the group? Because depending on what your priority is, the way that you collect, the way that you interact with K-pop will reflect your priorities. And when you find yourself feeling bad about something, you have to ask yourself, what is my base priority here? And for most people, I feel like we're doing well if our base priority is making sure that our artists are supported financially, because we've seen just with the disillusion of Boyfriend and Eli and Kisef leaving UKISS, if the fans aren't buying it, the artists have no support at the company level. And so financially speaking, it is important for us to support our artists so they can continue to provide us with art and entertainment. But you are a person as well. And this is entertainment. And if supporting your faves would endanger your livelihood or keep you from something that's a necessity to your everyday life, then of course you come first. But if it's all about, well, I really like two groups, but one group has 5 covers for the album and one group has 1 album, or one group has 5 covers of the album and the other group has 5 copies of the album, but also their last album didn't do so great and I want to make sure that they feel supported. Like, your priorities will let you know what ranks first and you move based on that. But I just thought I'd have the discussion because it's hard to get over FOMO in a lot of ways. Like, I'll be thinking about this New Jersey concert for a long time. I'll be thinking about this New Jersey concert probably until the next time BTS goes on concert in the States. On tour in the States. Oh my gosh. I'm so all screwy. But yeah, I'll be thinking about it until then. And I'll think about it, number 1, because I really like them as a group and I want to see them again. But number 2, it always, for me, comes back to SHINee. And it comes back to SHINee because I always think about the last time I saw them. And like, if I didn't take the chance and do what I did in order to see them, I would have missed the last time SHINee OT5 came to the United States. And that would have bugged me for years to come. And so that was hard for me. And I know a lot of my friends who wanted to see SHINee during that tour and didn't. And for them, it's hard for them because they think about that as a missed opportunity. But going back to a point that I made very briefly earlier, what's meant for you is meant for you, you know? And if seeing them at that time wasn't meant for me, I couldn't have felt bad because I know my life has a purpose and a pattern and it was meant for me to be doing something else at that time. You know, I'd already seen SHINee once by the time I saw them in concert the second time, so it wasn't like I'd never seen them live before. But yeah, if I had only ever seen them the one time, then that was the time I was meant to see them. And if somebody sees Taemin now that never saw OT5, that doesn't mean that that experience with Taemin is in any way diminished because Jonghyun is no longer available to tour. It just means you have a different experience, and that's the experience you were meant to have. But with all that being said, I definitely recommend trying to catch K-pop groups on tour whenever you can, because there's a real difference between hearing the album and seeing them in person. Like, just the feeling of the crowd and everything else. It is something that, like, to me, if I could trade every album I have for the opportunity to see these acts in person, I would. Like, if that was an option, it's like, okay, you can either buy the album or you can go to the concert for the same price. Who would buy the album? Like, seriously, would anyone watching this buy the album instead of going to the tour stop? I don't think so. So yeah, I just wanted to have a little discussion because it was on my mind, and I thought that maybe some of you were feeling the same way, especially because when you log on Twitter and all of your mutuals are posting about what a great time they had, and they've got all these screen caps and they've got all this tour like live footage. It's kind of, oh, it hurts. Not that I begrudge them a good time, that's not it at all. It's just more like, damn, really wanted to be there. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll talk with you later. Bye.